Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. Today's video is all about the topic of working in the US. Them US visas got you going crazy, so we're going to discuss that and I hope you find it helpful. If you've clicked onto this video, you are either one, an old subby who's kind of curious about how I got to work in the US, maybe inquiring about themselves in the future, or number two, you are a newcomer, in which case you are very welcome to my channel. I would highly recommend you hit that big fat red subscribe button down below because over the past year I've done a ton of US related content, specifically where I was based in Manhattan, New York, and I did daily vlogs every 2 weeks. So if you want to see a bit more of the emotional side of going through this process and what to expect, I would highly recommend you check out that vlog playlist. But I've also done other videos like how to find an apartment in New York, how to furnish an apartment in New York, all that good stuff as well, so stick around if you want to see some of that. We all know you need a visa to get into the US. Even if you are a visitor, you'll fill out your little ESTA application online. It lets you into the country for 3 months, but if you are thinking of working in the US, you're going to need a little bit more than that. Just to preface, this is not how to get a green card video. I'm not a America worker. This is more about just working visas, which are commonly referred to as non-immigrant visas. I've gone through 2 of them, so I have some tips to share. Like I said, I'm not going to hit on the emotional side too much. I want to try and get to the big points for you, things to expect, costs, stuff like that, requirements. Now, don't shoot me USA, but I'm just saying in my experience, visas are kind of just like, I don't know, like a fog to basically just prove you have enough money to live and survive and contribute to the USA. I think if you have a bit of money, like a chunk of money, there will be some kind of visa out there for you. The hardest bit is just getting your foot in the door, and once you're in the US, it's kind of easier to figure out how to stay. So the first visa that I went on, primarily for this reason, it was the only kind of visa that I felt was eligible for me at the time, was the J1 graduate visa. It's a year-long visa. It's a training or internship program that you can do after you graduate from university, possibly open to master's students as well. Basically, if you graduated something, you're more than likely able to apply for this visa. There's also a J1 summer program. I've never done that, but this is more about gaining more experience in your field of work, getting opportunities that you can't get at home. For me, I'm from Ireland. It's a very small pond in the creative industry, so for me to get to go to America was great. And I did my internship for 2-3 days a week. The rest of the time I focused on my YouTube and my blog, which I've been doing for 6 years. This visa is pretty easy to get. If you are in Ireland, you can do it by yourself, or you can do it through a company that will do it for you, like Use It. I used them. They're like a travel agency, and they also book your flights along with your visa. They kind of just streamline the process for you and kind of make sure that you don't do it wrong. And then you need to keep in mind that you have 90 days to find an internship once you're in the US. At the time that I arrived in New York, even though I have a very good CV, I found it very difficult to find a fashion internship because I arrived very close to Fashion Week and everyone had their interns and nobody even pays fashion interns anyway. So yeah, if you're creative, you will find it very difficult to find a paid internship. So that's a kind of an interesting visa to do if you are just looking after uni to have a fresh break and try something new and go off on an adventure. I would recommend it. There is also the HB1 visa, which I have never done, but a lot of my friends have been on the HB1 visa, which is again a visa that is valid for a couple of years, and it is when you work for a company and the company then sponsors you because they feel like you're good enough to want to keep you on and keep you in the country, and then they pay either a portion or all of your lawyer fees. They usually have their own in-house lawyers that take care of immigration and talent from other countries as well. So a lot of my friends are on this visa. Again, if you don't feel like you're extraordinary enough to get the O visa, or it's just not suited to your industry and you're more in the industry of working for a company, that's a great way to also stay as well. But then you are, I don't believe you're tied to that company, but I feel like again you would feel obliged to stay with that company for the entire duration of the time that you are in the US. The visa that I've just acquired is called the O1 visa. It's an extraordinary ability visa. It sounds really douchey, but basically if you're kind of skilled or you've been highly acknowledged for what you do, you are possibly a candidate to get an O1 visa. And it's basically, you need to prove that you have extraordinary ability. So for me, I applied for it as a fashion blogger, and luckily I've been doing it for a really long time, so it only made sense that I apply as like a digital influencer, and that is what I've gotten my visa in. So the O1 visa allows me to stay in the US for 3 whole years working and being creative and being able to travel a bit easier. The one thing about the J1 visa is it's a little harder to move around because you've got to carry this stupid form everywhere with you. Being able to be in America working as whatever you want is an amazing feeling, and it made the whole year of kind of not really loving what I was doing in New York kind of worth it. So I'm excited for the next couple of years. So before going fully into requirements, I guess the big thing is like, how much do these visas cost? For the J1, it's pretty straightforward. You fill out the paperwork, you pay the money, and you're good to go. I believe I paid between 3,000 and 4,000 euros, including my flights, to go to America on the graduate program, and obviously the travel agency I went to took a cut out of that as well. Then the rest went towards processing the visa and all that kind of stuff, and the sponsors and all that. So yeah, it was a big investment, and unless you have a job lined up, please don't go without a very big chunk of savings. I would say if you're going to move somewhere very expensive like Manhattan, you really want to be going with another $6,000 in your pocket when you're going, because it's the kind of city it sucks up all your money. So if you're going somewhere cheaper, that's fine, you might get away with less than that, but it's just something to keep an eye out for. The O visa is again another very expensive process, because this time you will need a lawyer to help you. So I booked an amazing lawyer that was recommended by a friend who's in the same industry as me, who applied for the same visa, and that was Aleksandra from Oltarsh and Associates. She was amazing. I will put her details in the down bar. She is based in Manhattan, but she's so good. Like, she is so straight up, and I just wanted someone like an honest lawyer, because I heard so many horror stories about bad lawyers and people not getting their applications. But Aleksandra was amazing. She told me straight away if I was eligible or not. I think I got a free 20-minute consultation, so you can always just go and check out with a lawyer and see what options are available to you. You don't necessarily have to go for this visa. Just go chat to them, and they will obviously try and get your business and try and get you a visa that's going to work for you. So Oltarsh and Associates are specialists in like immigration and these types of working visas and all that type of stuff. So I really trusted her, and when she said that, you know, she only takes on good cases that she believes she can win, then I believed her, and it was a big weight off kind of having their reassurance. There's nothing worse than paying this money, which is a lot of money, and possibly not even getting the visa, which is something you need to bear in mind. You will still need to pay your lawyer fee even if you don't get the visa. So between lawyer costs and visa processing fees, you are looking at probably $3,500 to $4,500, and then you also need to see if you want it premium process, which is actually when you submit your visa application and you find out within 2 to 3 weeks. So if you don't get premium processing, it takes like 2 to 3 months to find out, whereas if you pay a little bit extra, you'll find out a lot quicker. It's faster to make plans, and it's just a bit more efficient. And premium processing, from what I've discussed with friends, is it does look a little bit better on your application. So it's something to consider. It's an extra $1,500. But if you're serious about staying in New York and you want to find out fast, then you will probably need to pay that on top of your lawyer fees. So you're looking at about $5,000, $5K, you guys, to stay in the US for another couple of years. Onto requirements, specifically for these visas that I've experienced myself. The J1, you don't really need much of requirements. You need like a decent CV, and you just need to fill out like a big pile of basic information paperwork, and then you're pretty much good to go. It's a pretty straightforward process. The extraordinary visa is a little bit different. There's less paperwork, as in like there's less that I have to sign. Like there wasn't actually a bunch of paperwork with this, but there was a lot of evidence that you had to gather for it. Supporting documents is a big thing when it comes to O visa. You have to prove to the US that you are special, and that you are I don't know, that you're going to make money, and that you're skilled in what you do, basically. So in terms of supporting documents, first of all, it really, really helps if you either have, if you're a creative anyway, if you have either a company that you're working for or an agency, if you're some kind of talent, to vouch for you. This, well, a lot of big companies will have their own lawyers anyway, so you might get away with this cost, but it's kind of like they're vouching for you and they need to provide some information. It's not a ton of paperwork, it's just a big thing to have a company represent you. I personally did not want that. I didn't want to sign with an agency in a rush. I've seen it happen before. It doesn't work out well for people. I wanted to use an agent, and an agent could be a friend, it could be somebody at the company you're working for. It's basically somebody, a US citizen, that is willing to vouch for you and what you were saying about yourself, being a skilled person. They'll have to provide some personal details, but again, it's mostly a few signatures, and it's not that big of a deal. So if you have a good friend in the US that's willing to vouch for you, it's a really great way, because then you're not tied to some kind of company and you don't feel like you owe some company. Second thing is references. You need a lot of references, like really, really good written references, like we're talking like 3/4 of a page to a page long, which isn't that bad really once you put in their address and all that kind of stuff. It takes time, and references are really annoying to get. But if you can get references that vouch for your special skill set, then that's great. You will need 6 to 10 of those, either 6 really, really, really good, nice quality references, or you can have a couple of shorter ones in there too. I think I had 7 or 8 really good ones, and then like 1 or 2 like average, like very, very short references. Contracts are a good thing to improve. So for me as an influencer, I've put in lots of example contracts from people and sponsorships that I've done in the past, projects I've worked on, campaigns, the type of brands I've been working for, any online features, any magazine features, which over 6 years I've been lucky enough to kind of rack up quite a few of those. I had to have one document with that. I had one document with like my old contracts in it. I had another document all the different ways that I earn income through blogging, because there's a lot of different facets to that, and not everyone will have to do this, but I personally had to write out this timeline to prove the type of work that I'm going to be doing for the next 3 years. It was basically like just a timeline document where each year was a page, and I explained the kind of events that I'll be working at, so like Fashion Week, and like the type of sponsorships and the type of companies I'll be working with each month. So it was like a mock-up basically based on my past year or two of earning money this way. And then lastly, once you've been approved, hopefully, you will go for your embassy interview. So I went for my embassy interview in Dublin, and it's fine. If you're going for any type of visa, please do not freak out about your embassy interview. It's really casual. You stand in a line and you just talk to a guy for 5 minutes, and I think it's just for them to see you in person, and they have this machine that takes your fingerprints, which I think tells if you're lying or something like that. But yeah, no, it's fine. I know the guy in Dublin is super nice, and it's really easy to get hyped up at the interview and be really panicky and bring a lot of unnecessary documents. Like for my J1, the checklist for documents was so long. I was like struggling to get like last minute references, and they didn't even ask for any of it. So just bring what the embassy asks you to bring, and don't freak out about anything else. Oh, this is probably so long, but I hope I hit some main points for you guys there. If there's anything else that I haven't touched on, I will try and answer it in the comments for you guys. But again, like I said, please go check out my vlogs, because a lot of the stuff I've been through is in there, and you might find your answer there as well. But yeah, if you have any other questions, I'll try and get to them in the comments. If I've forgotten anything, I will try and leave it in the description bar below. But this is sort of the outline of what you may need to get one of the visas I've been on. I wish you the best of luck. It's so stressful. I feel your pain. It's probably one of the hardest things I've ever had to go through in my life, but it's all worth it, and I'm excited for 2017. So see you all in the next one. Best of luck. Bye.